starting way back when you plan all these things out in the fiscal plan. As district administrator, I got my first financial plan together. We looked at it and had a consultant that wasn't able to get the job done, so we ended that contract and then hired two contractors, Petcha and Associates and WGM Group. I split the thing into two parts, divided it into 4 projects. Each one fit in the fiscal plan, and I was going, yes, we've got it done. We're going to be done in 6 years. Well, here we are, 13 years later, 14 projects, and all that planning that you do early on. I guess you have to have a plan, and then the first thing you do is you start changing the plan depending on what happens. And as money goes in fiscal, the projects kept getting let up for what money was available. There's a lot of memories here. Working with the groups, really, I learned a lot from everybody here. One of the things, I had a very simple question asked by Gene DeBroker. Says, we have a highway out here. Can't we figure out a way to have the traffic slow down when they come through our town? He was talking about something called traffic calming. Well, in 1999, the year 2000, we in Montana, we hadn't even thought about that yet. So I had to do a lot of homework. We all did a lot of homework trying to figure out a way to make that happen. And like I said, I sure hope it works out well.
You know, when we're in school as engineers, they give us a certain set of tools to work with. And a project like this takes a huge range of disciplines, from the urban design of storm drainage and bridges and stoplights to the natural designs of stream crossings, the rural agricultural areas and irrigation ditches. It requires a big team of people and a lot of different expertise. But the one thing that we don't have coming out of school is that local knowledge, the reasons that this place is important to you, and why it's important to do the project well. And that's what all of you contributed. That's what you taught me in the process, is why it was important to make this highway the way it is, and to make sure that we thought about all those things that make this place special.
This panel evaluated all the submittals it received, and the one that came out on top for transportation category was this project, the Bitterroot Corridor, Lolo to Hamilton.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and from Senator Tester, who's sorry he can't be here today, he sent this message. Thank you for inviting me to share a few words. And congratulations to all the folks in the Bitterroot who are benefiting from these 4 lanes. Montana's families, farmers, ranchers, and small businesses depend on these important roadways to get to work and to get produce, livestock, and goods to market every day.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here today to read a letter from Congressman Danny Rehberg. Dear friends, thank you for your invitation to the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Highway 93 Bitterroot Valley Corridor. I wish I could be there to join you. The Bitterroot Valley Corridor is an important addition for western Montana. This highway will make travel safer and more efficient on one of Montana's busiest roadways.
I am Jim Shockley. This is about the 3rd iteration of this highway since I started driving. I used to commute from Darby to undergraduate school, and like I said, that was about 3 changes ago. In 1992, Bill Groff, I think we all remember Bill, state senator, director of the Department of Revenue, and I think he worked here at the bank. He says, in 1992, it was supposed to be done in 96. He says, never happened. He was right. Senator Max Baucus was here in the early 2000s and said it'll be done in 3 years. Had the $15 million check, The problem is the senator did the proper thing. He didn't earmark it. I want to especially thank Director Lynch, former Director Lynch of the Department of Transportation. Without him, this wouldn't have happened. And the current director, my good friend Tim Reardon, it wouldn't have happened. We owe those people. Without those 2 people, this would not have happened till the second coming. I was pleased to help create the Transportation Investment Generating Economic Recovery Program, also known as TAGR. As one of the 5 senators who played a key role in crafting the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act during the peak of the economic crisis. At that time, from my position as chairman of the powerful Senate Finance Committee, I could see the need for funding programs that would create or sustain jobs for the long haul. Our economic situation requires more than limited quick fixes. This Bitterroot Valley Corridor Highway project provided much needed job support for this part of the county, of the state. And it has been a great collaboration of county, city, and community efforts coupled with a far-reaching federal investment in our transportation network, our shared national asset. This kind of investment backs lasting improvements, and it shows national recognition for this community's diverse transportation needs.
As far as the speech, this is not about the county commissioning. This is an effort by a lot of people that are here in this crowd, starting in Lolo and all the way down the valley, working one community at a time to fix or to have an influence on the building of our major corridor highway. And, we didn't get it all right each time, but each time we did better.
The process started in 1992 with an environmental document that eventually led to construction in 1999 and culminated in 14 projects in excess of $135 million. The main reason that I'm here today is to thank the communities, to thank the focus groups in particular for their efforts. That's something that's new. As Lauren had stated earlier, it was a new concept to the Department of Transportation, and it's something that we have engaged since this corridor started in other areas of western Montana and throughout the state of Montana to really actively pursue that public involvement and not just try to ram a highway down somebody's road.
When we started on trying to get a trail from Lolo to Florence, it was a small, tenacious group of citizens who wanted to see it happen. And the first answer we got was, no, you're too late. It's too far in the design process. And we were citizens that didn't like to hear no. And so we worked with the Valley County Commissioners and the Missoula County Commissioners and planners, and even went to Mark Dye, who was the director at that time. This was before Lauren's time. And finally, we got to a yes, which was an amazing thing. And so that's why you see that trail there, is because a lot of folks came together to figure out how could we get to a yes and make that trail happen.
And just briefly, that pathway that started in Florence, it took us another series of meetings over years to get the counties to agree to continue it. And hopefully the last 8 miles will be done in the next 10 years going into Missoula. The other one is Jeremy needs a special thanks, because when we started, there were 600 accesses onto this highway, and he wrote the access plan that eliminated about 2/3 of them. Thanks, Jeremy.
You bet, I understand.
We also have the Stevensville Focus Group. Is anyone here from Stevensville? All right. Well, we've got one. We'll find out her name here in a minute. There you go. You bet.
I just wanted to say thank you to all of the people that haven't been mentioned, that worked on it for years and years before the years these people are talking about. There was a plan put together, there were meetings put together. Kathleen Meyer had a wonderful plan from talking to all the people up and down the valley, and that's what this really came out of. And Jim Olson from Friends of the Bitterroot, they supported this whole process to keep it in the public eye until everybody got involved, and we finally got the discussion going between the people that build the highways and the people that drive on the highways. So thank you so much for everyone.
And now the work really starts. We're committed in Victor to keeping this being the nicest looking highway, part of the highway that we can, and it's going to take a lot of work, and I really encourage the other communities that maybe we're getting off to a slow start, but let's rally together and really make this a nice looking highway. Thank you.
People in Victor, you can't realize how much they did. There was 3 ladies that started the Main Street project and carried it through, got all the people to get involved. Now to get on to a little bit of history about the main part of Victor and the highway, I'll tell you how it started, and this is the real history. One day, years and years ago, I think I read in the paper that the Florence people were really, really, really upset with the highway department. And I didn't know that. And they were going to have a meeting, and they were going to get people together, and they were going to try to do something about it. Blah. And this went on, and I just finally thought, hey, something's happening here, and something's going to happen in Victor. So is Diane Johnson here by any odd chance? I don't see her. Anyway, most of you know her. Her and my wife and I got together, and I got those two gals, and I said, let's go up there to that meeting and see what's going on. So we did. And on the way up there, I told them, I said, there was one thing important here. When we get up there, don't say one word. Not one. And they looked at me and they know me better now. But anyway, I accepted that role, and we got into the meeting and listened to everything, got some ideas, and then we came back to Victor, and on the way I said, you know what? That's going to happen to Victor. We're going to get involved in this. We better do something.
And so I just want to recognize how blessed I realize that we are, that in the midst of all the economic challenges of these last few years, we had this highway made. Is that amazing? And not only that, but we had all the wildlife accommodations in it. At the same time, the work is not yet done, like Roger said. And when it comes to the wildlife and the water and the habitat in our Bitterroot Valley, I just want to encourage and invite any who are interested in persevering and caring for our home here to let me know, because we do have more work to do.
And also, at the beginning of every meeting, I'd go over the ground rules with the group of our climate that we wanted to have. One of the first things was listen and speak with respect. I'd like to encourage you to keep doing that, even though I'm not going to be there to enforce it. And the very last one was have fun. And I'm so glad we're having fun today. Thank you.
I'm sure we've all met that someone who affects our lives in a very special way. Dave Meadow was that person for many of us. Dave was an important member of the Victor Highway 93 Focus Group. His involvement with the focus group began in 1999, shortly after Victor's first town meeting. About 150 people attended that first meeting, and after that, a steering committee of about a dozen people were formed. A secretary was needed, but nobody would volunteer. Roger DeHaan remembers telling the group, we need to change the name from secretary to scribe and archivist. Dave Meadows' hand shot up, and his amazing job as our focus group scribe began. Dave kept meticulous notes of our meetings and filled binders with his careful minutes of what transpired at every meeting. Dave's library included meeting minutes, presentations, research documents, and agendas of the lengthy public process. Dave was our go-to guy, the person you could count on to get the job done. His perseverance, dedication, involvement, and commitment should not go unnoticed. As most of you know, Dave died on November 8th, 2009. It is my privilege on behalf of the Victor Highway 93 Focus Group and the countless people who knew Dave to honor him with this plaque. The plaque will be placed on the decorative light at the corner of 93 and Main on the south side near Farmer State Bank with the inscription, in memory of Dave Meadow. His contribution to this project has left a mark on the Victor community, which we all appreciate. Dave represented all that is good in life, and we miss him. Thank you.
For me, this is for all of you. We could not have done this without pulling together as a family. The things that we've done together here, and it's been a long journey. It will be a week from Monday will be 20 years from the first meeting we held on this project up here. I remember well the first Citizens Advisory Committee. I'm not naming names. I'm just talking about the situation. We asked the members of the advisory committee to give their thoughts and feelings about this project that was going to be coming forward. And an individual immediately to my right on this corner of the table said, I don't know why we're even bothering to have any discussion about this highway. We need to stop our dependency on fossil fuels. We'll all be riding bicycles in 4 or 5 years, and this is a waste of time. And then another individual at exactly the opposite corner slammed his fist down on the table and said, you're right, this is a waste of time. This highway should have been built 10 years ago, and I don't know why we're here talking about it some more. And I thought, I don't know, was it you, Senator, that mentioned Armageddon? Anyway, we knew we had our work cut out for us. Now, it's been an interesting process as we grew together. We learned to quit worrying about who is right, which kind of put us in our corners and everyone takes position and hunkers down. And we began to focus then on what is right as we move forward. And that's been the great miracle of this project from my perspective.